Welcome back, guys. This is a big video, a very important video about significant figures. You may have been introduced to it in your other classes, but now it's going to affect every single unit from here until you graduate. You're going to use it in chemistry, you're going to use it in math, and you're surely going to use it in physics and whatever fourth year science you decide to take. So please pay attention to this. Make sure you understand it, otherwise it's silly points to miss on any type of exam, quiz, test, assignment. These are going to affect everything you do. So significant figures indicate how much confidence or estimation of a measurement is known. So here you have 4 rules of significant figures. You should go ahead and memorize them. They're not that hard. They become second nature when you start using them. So rule number 1. All non-zero digits are always significant. So anything that's not a 0 has to be significant. So number 24 has 1, 2 sig figs. That one's easy. Number 2, leading zeros are never significant. They hold no value. So these numbers, leading zeros, are the zeros that are in front of the non-zeros. So all of these zeros don't count. So then you just have the 2 and the 4. There you go, 2 significant figures. So number 3, middle or trap zeros are always significant. You can only have one. Middle or trap zeros are always significant. So if you get a 0 sandwiched between 2 non-zeros, they count as significant. So now we have 1, that's a 0, but then we have this one here, so that's 2. The middle 0 there counts as your third significant figure, because it's in the middle. Number 4, tail zeros are significant if and only if there is a decimal point in the number, because it's saying you actually measured to the 10th, the hundredths, the thousandths. It's telling us you went that far in your measurement. So 24.0, you have a 1, 2 sig figs, then you have a decimal, so everything after it should be good. 3. So there's your 3 sig figs. The 240, you have a 1 here, that's your second. There's a 0 with no decimal place. So that one you only have 2 significant figures. That's the one that confuses people. The decimal is very important when looking at sig figs, especially with tail zeros. So here we're going to count the underlined significant figures in each of the following numbers. Okay. If we go back to our rules, let's classify these zeros. These zeros are tail zeros. So they only count if there is a decimal. There is no decimal, so we only have 1 sig fig. We abbreviate significant figures by saying sig figs. Now these are leading zeros. So they do not count. So here we only have 2 sig figs. So here we have 3 more leading zeros, and then 1 right here in the middle. So now we're going to have 3 sig figs there. Now when you have this times 10 raised to the 24th, that's scientific notation. We'll get into that in another video. You don't count the times 10 24. You just count the number in front of the multiplication sign. So here we have a 2. This is a middle 0, so that's a significant figure. The 5 is significant. And then the tailing 0 right here, since there is a decimal, that counts as your 4th sig fig. Okay, number 5. You have a 3, a 9, and a 0. We have a decimal, so that counts again as 4 significant figures. Number 6. You have a 1, but then you get 3 zeros. Those are all tail zeros. So there is a decimal, so you count all 3 zeros. So we're going to have 4 significant figures again. Number 7, you've got a 1. This is the middle 0, so it counts, followed by number 1. Then you have a 0. There is no decimal, so we only have 3 sig figs there. And then 100, you get your 1, 2 tailing zeros, so you got a decimal, so those all count. You have 3 sig figs. I didn't underline, I just kind of counted them for you. You can underline if you want. Okay, now we're going to round to 3 sig figs. Last year our kids had problems rounding, so if it's 5, you round up. If it's less than 5 or lower, you stay the same. Okay? So we're rounding to 3 significant figures. So we have a 1, 2, 3 right there. This 4 is less than 5, so we're going to stay. So we're going to call it 123. That's a comma with 3 zeros. That's 3 sig figs. Remember those 3 zeros there are tailing. There's no decimal, so we don't count those. Now here we have, there's our 3, so we have negative 2, 3. Our 4th digit is a 9. So this one, we're going to round up. So we're going to round this 4 to a 5. So another 235 with 3 tailing zeros with no decimal. So 3, we have that leading 0, which never counts. Then we have 1, 2, 3. Our 4th is a 4, so we keep it the same. 2, 3, 1. Now you don't put zeros here because that decimal place would make those tailing zeros significant. So you would not want to do this. Don't do that. That gives you 6 sig figs. Number 4, 1, 2, 3. This 9 runs that 9 to a 10, which runs that 9, and that 8 to a 9. So we actually have 19. And then you got to do 3 sig figs. So you put a decimal. Tailing 0 with a decimal is significant. And those are in the top right if you can find them. Alright, so using these with actual math. The multiplication division, the answer can have no more sig figs than are in the measurement with the smallest number of sig figs. Exact numbers, such as counting numbers, we'll talk about those in a bit, and conversion factors, are not included in counting sig figs. Don't worry about those, that last statement too much. You're not going to encounter those a whole heck of a lot. And if you do, most of the time they're not the number with the lowest number of sig figs. So here we go. Grab your calculator. If you don't have one with you, or on your phone, or on your computer, there's one on my website. So no excuse for not doing this. Make sure you do this because you're going to have to do it in class. So when we divide this number, we have this number has 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. This one has 2. So our answer can only have 2 significant figures. So we put this in our calculator. We're going to get 0.00021, and that gives us 2 sig figs. Remember, leading zeros never count. Now this one, we don't have a decimal, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. Here, leading zeros never count, so we have 1, 2, 3. So we can only have 3 significant figures in our answer. Put that in the calculator, gives you 3.58 times 10 to the 10th. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 3. So we can only have 3 answers in our answer, or 3 sig figs in our answer. So we can have 7, 0, 2, 0. Make sure there is not a decimal point there. Otherwise, that tailing 0 becomes significant. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3. Again, our answer is 3 sig figs. So 3860. Significant figures does take some practice, so don't get disheartened if you don't get it yet. You will get a lot of practice in class. That's it. Please come back and review this video if you're struggling. Make sure you know those rules.